Well, welcome to our next week of online statistics. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a kickstart video and talk about a few items. So, you obviously know now that we're supposed to be using Course Compass for our Course Compass material, and that we should be using the Piazza discussion board for discussions. And so I shouldn't be receiving a bunch of emails directly to my email because I already get emails from the Piazza posts. And I'm in Piazza very regularly. If you haven't noticed, I haven't checked my response time, but I think I'm getting responses in within less than, at the most, 3 to 4 hours. and so, and that's way above what I said on the syllabus, because the syllabus I was giving myself something like 72 hours. So, anyway, that's why we want to use this Piazza discussion board. Now, back to the class course material. So you really do want to start spending time learning how to use this. First of all, I put that embedded link to Piazza in here. Sometimes it takes a little while to load because it's loading inside the browser. If you want to see the whole thing, you can go ahead and expand the space there. And if you want to expand more space here, collapse the feed side over here, and you can just look directly at the main page. You'll notice here that not everyone enrolled in the class, and I am dropping those people who did not get the course material by the time that I said they were supposed to get it on the syllabus. If you decided not to get into the class on time, then I apologize, but we have to keep the syllabus and keep the class going. So anyway, so look for that. If you ever do that, then you can sometimes get a little confused in terms of where you are still located. You're still located inside Course Compass. You see how when I click that button, it'll toggle back and forth between full screen, or if I just want the panel, there's the panel. And then I've expanded, or I've collapsed the question and answer, so I can open that back up. You'll see my post up here today for the video that I'm discussing in right now, that I'm talking about right now. Okay, so then there's the syllabus. This is the combined syllabus for both sections. We've already talked about all that, so in fact there's that attendance right there that says you may be dropped and you're considered a no-show if you didn't get your stuff together by June 6th, and that was set up for midnight, so you should have been in by that point. The tools for success is really important, and I'm not sure that all of you guys are looking here. So I did post a few of these things that I'm saying in this video today in a spread of answers during our discussion last week, but I just want to reiterate some of those items. So I'll reiterate that if you have trouble answering homework questions, here's this on how to enter the answers. If you wanted some support, some tutoring, there is some tutoring somewhere in here. I'm not seeing it right now. And then there are a bunch of other tools down here. Now I've summarized out of all these tools what is most important, and more specifically what is allowed to be used during a test, specifically the midterm and the final, but also regarding any quizzes that you take. And I put them in this approved folders and review sheets. So here are all the things that you can use. You should open them up and start to determine which ones you think are most useful, or just print them all out and bring them all with you anytime you're doing a quiz or midterm or the final. But a couple that I think you should have like printed on cardstock, something nice, would be the formula fold-out sheet and the TI review card, and then this weird one that says Stat G1T App C. In fact, I'm going to open that. This one's a shortcut or a quick list of all the TI calculator functions, and I know that several people do have those and would be using them. So check this out. It tells you, and it's almost by chapter. For example, this is going to be the first 2 chapters where you learn how to put in a list, and then you can do a box plot or a histogram. I gave an answer on how to do the histogram with the TI calculator in one of my Piazza posts. How to do a frequency distribution. I talked about how to do that. Now, more importantly, this tells you how to do the summary statistics from a frequency distribution, and that's going to be what you're talking about this week in chapter 3. So you would really want to learn how to do that unless you're using StatCrunch. Then none of this really applies. This is for the calculator. Chapter 5's binomial distribution. You'd like that. Anyway, so you can go ahead and look through all this. The thing of this is, the deal is that in statistics, there's no one program that does everything the best. So in some cases, the calculator is better, and the mobility of the calculator is better. You know that you don't have to be online. You can be doing it, practice problems out of the textbook, and have your calculator with you. But in other cases, StatCrunch is going to be better because it will be open right there when you open the homework. Now, and in other cases, Excel, and in other cases, there's other programs. One you might want to start downloading here and start learning how to use is called, all right, there, you can't really see it because it's hiding. It's StatDisk. This is a very good program. It's kind of too robust. It'll help you do hypothesis tests that we're going to be doing in Chapter 8, and it'll go through the entire process for you. And that I don't like, but yet I will still allow it to be used. Anyway, so StatDisk is a good one. And then there's the StatDisk manual that helps you learn how to use it. Speaking of learning how to use these, someone was asking about learning how to use StatCrunch. And I said, if you have specific questions about StatCrunch, let me know, and I can do a problem with StatCrunch as the technology of choice. Or I can do a problem with the TI-83 as the technology of choice. I'm very familiar with all of them. Excel, StatDisk, StatCrunch, the calculator, and I definitely am familiar with doing it all by hand, so please let me know. All right, if you're not using this site right, then it's about time to get to learn how to use it. One of the things you should be doing is, besides going straight to the homework, which I think a lot of you seem to be doing, just jumping right in and doing problems, you can go to the multimedia library. You can choose, and I'm going to go to chapter 3 since it's the first topic of this week. You can choose a chapter and all sections or one particular section at a time. I'm just going to go ahead and select all the material that's available. And you'll see that there's animated videos for all sorts of things. These are great videos. So, great animations. So they'll go through the process of measure of center and all sorts of things. They are really good. My favorites are the animated flowcharts because those help us to understand the logic and the process that we should be applying to a lot of these different questions. And then you've also got the PowerPoints. So last week I showed you how to look at the PowerPoint for the frequency distributions. So in fact, I'll open one here today for what we're talking about this week. And then there's the videos. So you watch a video that's 13, 14 minutes long. You open up your PowerPoint, keep that available. After you watch the video, if there are any specific areas that you got stuck on, in fact, I'll just this time drop down to section 3.2. Then you watch an additional animation, and then you should be ready to do the homework. And if you're ready to do the homework, you will be ready for the quizzes. Let me go ahead and show you again. Actually, rather than going into the table here, the schedule, I'm going to go into the one that I posted on the Dropbox. Now, you should all have this. I gave you the Dropbox link, and I can post it up again. It was in the original email that I sent out when the class started. So if you're missing the Dropbox link, let me know. You guys can post it for each other in Piazza also. Answer each other's questions and get there, and you have been getting there before I get there several times. So we should, for this second week, be doing 3.2 first, 3.3. The week starts to slow down a little bit compared to last week, but the material takes a little bit more to absorb. So last week, 1, 2, and 1, 3, 1, 4, and actually chapter 2, those were all lighter sections than you'll see happen this week. And then we'll have that quiz, and then we'll finish off with some beginning of the probability section. These two sections aren't that bad, but 4, 6 is a doozy, so I'm going to have a separate lecture when I open up next week with the video. While I'm in here, I'm going to make a point. I'm going to go ahead and let me go to that Piazza page. Where was that? So we had someone ask, did they post it anonymously or did they actually put their name? They did. Okay, so Christy had asked, I thought we had till midnight to finish the homework and quizzes that were past due. Actually, the only one that has late accessibility is the homework. Quizzes don't. And thank you, Jorge or George, for answering that. Your response was exactly right on. Well, pretty much. You said that quizzes are not allowed to be taken after the due date, and I think I made that clear in different locations, but orientation video 1 and other videos. But then this says, to my knowledge and observations, of course, there's no doubt Mr. Bell will, sorry, I'm missing a word here. There it is. I doubt. I doubt Mr. Burrell would allow us to submit late quizzes. Hence, we have to keep our tight schedule and hands tied and all that other stuff. I'm going to make an exception, and this is the video that I'm stating it. And this is also the video that I hope you guys are watching to hear me tell you what the exception will be. In the quizzes and tests, quiz 1 and quiz 2 already passed. I'm going to open them up to be available up until Wednesday. So your next quiz is due Thursday, right? So I'm going to open them up until Wednesday at midnight, and I'm going to put a penalty, a password on them. And the password will be, I'll even leave it here on this page so that you can see that. The password for these late quizzes, quiz 1 and quiz 2, and this is the only two I'm going to do this for, will be ear with a capital I, regular. Okay? Because this is not going to be a regular habit that we want to start to form. Irregular will be the password. So what I'm saying here is I will do quiz 1 and quiz 2. Make them available with an additional attempt for those people that have already done it, with the password of irregular. Sound fair? Well, I hope it does, since I can't hear your response. Okay, there, I saved that. And we'll go back. All right, any other things I should talk about? Oh, I want to do a quick PowerPoint. Now remember, the PowerPoints can be downloaded from that multimedia library page. It's an important page to get used to using, multimedia library. By the way, there's a purchase option down here as well. If you guys decide you want to buy the book, you can buy it from this page, and since you already have Course Compass, it's discounted. I think it's like $76, but I've already made statements earlier about how you can use the 10th or 11th edition or alternate editions, and you can also download the e-text. Someone had asked about the e-text for the Kindle Fire. The Kindle Fire HDX doesn't seem to have the app available. The app is called, it's called Pearson eText, and it looks like this. It'll allow you to look at the book and download pages. It works really well now on at least my tablets. I have a Motorola Zoom, which is my Android tablet, and I have an iPad Air, and it works well on both of those. Phones, I know it works well on the iPhone. I'm not sure which phones it works well. I'm sure Galaxies, Galaxy Note, Galaxy, other versions. In addition, it looks like if you're using a Surface tablet, that they might now have a Windows 8 eText app, and you can look at more of that on your own. So if you did want to buy the book, there's a purchase option there, or you can buy an older edition, or just start using the electronic versions of the book. You definitely want to be reading this book, because I'm going to go to the PowerPoint here, but the PowerPoints, they're only a review of the things that you should have already read. So here's the PowerPoint. I have already downloaded the pages for you to the Dropbox to just make it convenient, and you can sync these. I'm going to go ahead and open section 2. Sorry, we wanted that for section 2 of chapter 3. Chapter 3, section 2. Chapter 3 starts to talk about the measures of center. And some of these you're very familiar with if you've taken a Math 101 class, or if you just remember it from elementary school and other places where you learned it. I know that they do teach this in at least 3rd grade because my daughter's in it. So, you know, you've probably heard of the first one that they talk about, which is the arithmetic mean. And you've probably heard of some of the others as well. What you are maybe more unfamiliar with is the notation. So we'll be using things like a capital sigma for the sum of. We've seen that a little bit. An x for just generically stating that we have variables or data points that we're putting in. Little n, that's really important, is the sample size, so that's a statistic. And big N is the population size, so that's a parameter. Remember that sample quantitative data are called statistics, and population quantitative data are called parameters. Anyway, so you're probably not as familiar with the notation, so we would say something like x bar is going to be denoting the average, which is just the sum of all the points divided by the count, where mu is that looks like the same thing, but it's covering population information, so it's a parameter. So mu would be a parameter, x bar would be a statistic. Anyway, they talk about the advantages and disadvantages to mean. The obvious advantage is that it takes into consideration all of the data, but the biggest disadvantage is that it's going to be really affected by outliers or extreme data points, and so we say that it's not resistant, whereas you'll see the median is resistant. So it's pretty straightforward how to calculate that mean. So the median is resistant. So the median, it's found by, it's kind of separated into two cases. It's found by the first case, if you have an odd number of values, it's the middle number after you sort the data, whether you sort it from smallest to largest or largest to smallest. But then if there's an even number of data points, then you're going to sort it still, because you're trying to find the middle location. But there's two in the middle, so you'll take those two and average those. And then they give you a couple examples here. They tell you the two cases that I just mentioned. Now, the biggest thing is that you remember that in this case you have to sort it, where it's in the mean or the average, you don't have to sort it. So that's a nice thing to know. That's a critical thing to know here. So if there's just an odd number of them, it's the literal middle. And if there are an even number of them, like here, you sort them and then you take the average of the middle, quote, end quote, because there's two in the middle. Okay, what's good about that is that that one is, they're going to the next example, but that one, median, is resistant. So if we had some extreme value, imagine that we added, the number 140 over here, and all of these are less than 10. You add the number 140 over here, and it doesn't really move that middle number over very much, because now then this is going to be the middle number. So these are the little things that you're going to want to highlight as you read and as you go back through the PowerPoint. By the way, in no means do I think that this is a lecture on this section. I'm letting you get your lecture from the video and from the reading of the textbook, but I'm just trying to show you how to use the PowerPoints. Mode, again, a measure of center we've talked about before in previous classes. You've probably heard about it. It's the most frequently occurring data value, but there may not ever be a frequently occurring data value, so there could be no mode. And here's an example where there's no mode. Anyhow, so it's going to talk about those measures of center. It's going to give you some rules. These PowerPoints are very good. They show you how to do the basics, and they review for you what you read. So I'll go ahead and close that. And I've got them in the Dropbox. I've got them already downloaded there. Also, we can put some pen casts if you need help on some problems, and there's the videos I've been posting. I'll go to those videos actually before I leave. So on my channel, it's my math professor is my channel. It's linked to all the unlisted videos that I've been posting on Piazza. So now you should understand, since they're unlisted, you need to use the links that I put in there, and then you can share those links with your friend, but I'm intentionally not listing them out to the general public because I don't want the general public to start giving commentary or getting involved in any conversation. I just want these videos to be here for you to use. But in here, you'll see some old ones. Let's see, old videos. And I'm not seeing them immediately. There's quite a few in here now. That's my update from second week last semester. Oh, right here. So using the TI-8384 to find the summary statistics. I would check that out because that's going to help you find mean, median, and mode all at one time. And it's similar to StatCrunch. Anyway, there was another one in there that was a homework question to trimmed mean and some other special mean problem that was from the homework. So you can check those out. All right, I think that's probably enough for you. Get started on your second week of lecture, second week of homework, and pass on the secret. I guess if someone asks directly, someone can come in here and let them know that hey, you should watch his second week lecture video because he's posted a little secret about the chapter 1 and 2 quiz. That's not going to happen again. In fact, I'm going to shrink this down so we don't think, oh, this is going to happen a lot.